Hi everybody. This is a Valentine's 2019 Cards and Crafts series. I'm making Valentine card number 2. Now with this card I'm using the Lawn Fawn stamp set and die cut called Sweet Smiles. One of my favorite stamp sets that I've bought from Lawn Fawn. I'm also using the With Love 6x6 paper pad from Recollections, which I've had for many years. They always have new stuff out, so if you're looking for Valentine's paper, and you're in Michael's, they might not have this exact paper pad, but they have, they have lots of cute stuff every year. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out these hearts because at the end of the card, I'm going to be putting some glue dots on them and making it so that they pop up a little bit. It was funny, and I'm just going to warn you right now that this card, I was a little off on making this card. There's a lot of things I did that I had to correct myself. This is a 5x5 card, so I'm taking an 8.5 by 11, cutting an inch off the bottom, and then turning it so that I can just cut 5 inches. Using my Cricut score tool there, and I scored it crooked. I also cut the paper layer 5x5 instead of 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I had to cut that down. I'm going to go ahead and straighten out my scoring job there and using my favorite glue, Tombow, to put that on there. Now, I don't know why I did this. Honestly, I have a Misty, and you'll see here in a minute I corrected myself. I pulled out the bubblegum, bubblegum little machine thing, and put it on an acrylic block. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to stamp on this. And I thought, no, wait a minute. If I mess that up, then that's not going to be any good. Pulled out the Misty, but then, you know what? I'm just going to let you watch this because it's kind of funny. I said I'll put it right there, and it wasn't sticking. So I flipped it this way, and then it stuck to my finger. Yeah. So anyway, I flipped the whole thing over and started the way it was supposed to be. I hope you're laughing because this was really quite funny. All right, making sure my magnets don't stick together because I've never done that before. I'm going to use the die, and I'm going to use my magnetic platform. This way you don't have to use washi tape or painter's tape. If you don't have a magnetic platform, you can use washi, and you can use painter's tape to hold that die down. Just running that through. One time is good enough. I'm going to save that scrap because I'm going to do a sentiment stamp on that. This is red cardstock, American Crafts. That's a scrap. And I'm taking a measurement to make sure that I do the right size. And I'm going to do a double layer. I'm going to do a black layer and a red layer. And I think it was like 2 1/4 by 3. And I cut the red layer, and then I cut the black layer 2 1/4 by 3. So I had to recut it. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, that's what it was. So I went ahead and cut that at 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then it worked the way I wanted it to. There you go. Get all that out of the way. All right, now we're going to use some Copic markers. This part of the gumball machine, I'm using R29. Now, I wish I would have zoomed in here because whenever somebody is doing Copic or colored pencils, I always appreciate them zooming in so I can see their technique. Now, I did a little bit of shadowing on this, mostly the gumballs. And I put a little bit of green on it, and the green that I used was YG63. There's some, little tiny areas that I'm trying to color in there. And I'm trying to choose a gray because I wanted it a really light gray. So ultimately I ended up with a C3. I am going to look next time I'm out shopping for a lighter gray. All right, so I'm going to color in the gumballs. Again, like I said, I just did a little bit of shadowing on these. And I'm using, for the pinks, R43 and R22. And I didn't want to do all pinks and reds. I went ahead and used some green as well. This card is for my great nephew. He's 6 years old. And I send him a card at least once a month. And then my niece will take a picture of him holding the card and text it to me. He's so cute. He's growing up so fast. All right, so I'm finishing up the Copic markers. And I didn't want to leave the background white, so I grabbed the C3 and I colored it in, and I did do a little bit of shadowing on that as well. Alrighty, done with that. Now I was going to put the foam adhesive on it, then remembered I wanted to stamp the little faces. If you get a chance, go onto the Lawn Fawn website and look at the Sweet Smiles stamp set. It's got little tiny smiles and a little dude face with the mustache and glasses, and it's just cute. It's like 16 little faces that you can stamp that inside these little gumballs. And yeah, I was having a good time with this. I'm always afraid that I'm going to lose little pieces like this. And what I should have done here is just return it back to the place that it should have been on that acetate. But you know what? I didn't lose anything, so it all worked out. What I did here, you'll see in a minute, is I just kind of cleared the area, and then I took all those faces and I put them back on the acetate, and I set it aside. And then when the video was done, I cleaned them off and put it away. This way, I didn't lose anything. All right, so I'm going to do this sentiment stamp. And it says, "You're so sweet." I'm just trying to get it straight there. Just using a Memento black ink and making sure my magnets don't stick together. Now I ended up cutting this crooked and had to trim it. Another little funny thing that happened when I was making this card. But at least I got the size right. Just trimming off the edges. And I had this, the black and the red layer here is left over from the trimming that I just did. So it all worked out, right? So I'm going to put the sentiment on the red part and then the red part on the black. Now I can glue the rectangles together and put that adhesive on the back. Now if you wanted to, you could get a gel pen or something to make those gumballs sparkly. I did not do that. And then I grabbed my Close to My Heart stamp set called Just to Say. I use this one a lot. It's got some great sentiments on it. Check that one out as well. And I just chose the Happy Valentine's Day. Now I wanted to mention too that when I was stamping the bubblegum ball machine, I used Copic marker paper that I got from copicmarker.com. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's a 70-pound marker paper. It works perfect with your Copics, obviously. I have used regular cardstock as well. Now here's where I'm putting the hearts on, using my glue dots. And I'm putting it right down the middle, and then kind of folding them up a little bit. Now, it will flatten out in the card, but it's at least going to be enough dimension once he pulls it out of the envelope that it's going to pop up a little bit. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. It was really fun making this one. And you all have a good day.